Right before we begin today's video, if you'd like to receive alerts about some of the best credit card offers, just go to this link in the description below to subscribe to my all-new credit card offer alerts. Simply enter your name and email and I'll start sending you those alerts for free. The all-new version of the Chase Sapphire Reserve is out, and if you want to get it, there are some drastically new rules that you must be aware of, including an all-new pop-up jail. And the best place to begin is with the offer details. Here's what it says. This credit card is unavailable to you if you currently have one open. The new card member bonus may not be available to you if you currently have any other personal Sapphire cards open, previously held this card, or received a new card member bonus for this card. We may also consider the number of cards you've opened and closed, as well as other factors in determining your bonus eligibility. And if you're wondering about the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the language here is pretty much identical, just the difference, of course, being a different offer altogether. This one's currently at 75,000 points. And you may also be aware that a Chase Sapphire Reserve business card also was launched, pulling up those offer details, and we see that the verbiage on the personal version is not present. So fortunately, if you want this biz version, way fewer exclusions apply. So going back over to the personal side, regarding those exclusions, let's simplify it all and break it all down. Starting June 23rd, 2025 and onward, here's what we've got for both of the Sapphire cards. On the Sapphire Preferred, you will not get approved for a Sapphire Preferred card at all if you already have a Sapphire Preferred open. On the Reserve side, you will not get approved for a Sapphire Reserve card at all if you already have a Sapphire Reserve open. That would make the first order of business, if you want to make yourself eligible, to product change. So call Chase and have them change your Sapphire Preferred or Reserve to one of the Freedom-branded cards. Also take note of my red font on the screen where it says you will not. It seems like there won't be any exceptions at all to this rule. Flipping over now to the may not type of language, which has maybe some built-in flexibility on a case-by-case basis. Where we previously looked at getting the card itself at all, we now see that you may not get a Sapphire Preferred welcome offer if you have any other personal Sapphire cards open. If you've previously had the Sapphire Preferred, and that is a little bit concerning because that kind of gives a little bit of a hint of lifetime language as we've spoken about with American Express in the past. This means if you've ever had the Sapphire card before, then you probably won't get the bonus again. Potentially ever, but again it does say may not. So based on Chase's own algorithm, if they see somehow you might be a profitable customer to them, then maybe they'll let you have a pass and accept you. Or if you've previously received a welcome offer for the Sapphire Preferred. Again, there's no language around this that says in the past 24 months or 48 months or anything like that. Much harsher than in the past. And now on the Sapphire Reserve side, same thing here. You may not get a Sapphire Reserve welcome offer if you have any other personal Sapphire cards open, if you previously had the Sapphire Reserve in the past, or if you previously received a welcome offer for the Sapphire Reserve in the past. Furthermore, you may not get a Sapphire Preferred or Reserve welcome offer depending on how many cards you've opened in the past, how many cards you've closed in the past, and other factors that Chase may determine internally. It sure seems like Chase is trying to crack down on people who get cards for welcome bonuses and nothing else. And if you haven't seen this write-up by View from the Wing, Chase lost a lot of money on the previous version of the Sapphire Reserve since it was first launched. They almost surely lost hundreds of millions, likely even billions of dollars on that deal. And I can assure you that Chase has no intentions of doing this again. Now, onto a very interesting development. As reported by Doctor of Credit, Chase will do away with the 48-month sign-up eligibility in favor of proprietary eligibility determination, Chase pop-up jail. Translation: you apply for a Sapphire product. If you're not eligible for the bonus, you will get a pop-up window that tells you that you're not eligible. But if you'd like to proceed with the application anyway, to maybe get the card without a bonus, you can definitely do so. Here's a screenshot from the article of what the pop-up window looks like. A quick update about your application. It looks like you're not eligible for a bonus for a Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card. This can happen if you've already held or received a bonus for this credit card. Current holders of personal Chase Sapphire cards are also ineligible. We haven't done a credit check yet, so there will be no impact to your score if you don't continue. How would you like to proceed? Either continue with the bonus or cancel my application with no impact to credit score. If you don't make a choice on this page, then Chase will withdraw your application. If you're asking yourself, why would anybody get a card with no welcome offer? Well, for a variety of reasons. I've done it myself actually with other cards in past years too. Sometimes the value proposition of a card is just so good for your lifestyle. You either like the rewards, the benefits, the protections, or whatever, that you're totally okay with getting the card anyway. So if you're going into a card with a long-term perspective on holding it, then it can still make sense. Regardless, it's still nice to have the pop-up verbiage on the screen. The alternative would have been you get approved, you think you get the bonus, you spend all this money on the card, and no bonus ever comes through. That would be way worse. Alright, so despite all the hype around the Sapphire Reserve, if you've personally looked into it and decided, hey, it's a good fit for me and you want to apply online, then make sure you do so safely, because this online world is getting pretty sketchy. In case you missed it, Ticketmaster suffered a data breach in the middle of 2024 that exposed the personal information of 560 million customers, including full names, addresses, partial credit card info, and more. That's something I was able to identify with in a huge way because, like millions of other people, we've both used and trusted Ticketmaster for years. Unfortunately though, data breaches are on the rise, and one of the most notable ones involved national public data. That incident compromised over 2.9 billion records used to perform background checks on people, and it included social security numbers. I bring all this to your attention because we're all super susceptible to having our data leaked online, especially when we're applying for credit cards, banking online, or doing other things of that nature. Despite this though, I do feel secure because I've been using today's sponsor, Aura, for several years now. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, across billions of data points. And if your identity ever does get stolen, they'll alert you about the threat and back you with up to $5 million in insurance. Additionally, Aura offers a bunch of other features to keep you safe online, including real-time alerts for data breaches, a VPN for secure browsing, data broker opt-out to stop companies from selling your personal information, a password manager to help you create and store strong passwords, and more. So if you like to protect yourself while banking online, applying for a new credit card, or simply browsing the web, go to aura.com/MarkReese to get a 2-week free trial. You'll find the link down below in the description as well to get started. Now back to the Chase Sapphire application rules. So what can we make of this new pop-up rule? Well, it seems to be replacing an old rule, and to give some clarity to that, let's move over to the View from the Wing blog again. There was a great post titled Sapphire Reserve Relaunch FAQ, What Chase Told Me About Deadlines, Bonus Rules, and Locking in the Old Deal. Sifting through the FAQs, one of the questions asked to Chase was, what new bonus restrictions will be in place? The answer was, we are transitioning away from the family of cards every 48-month eligibility to a same product premium eligibility. The time frame will be longer than 48 months, but we aren't able to share additional details. The old 48-month rule basically said that if you got a bonus on a Sapphire Preferred, then you could not get a bonus again on a Sapphire Preferred until 48 months have passed. The same rule also applied to getting bonuses on the Sapphire Reserve, which tells us that the old 48-month rule is now gone. It can be longer than 48 months. It may even be shorter based on what Chase determines with their own proprietary internal algorithms. So we have this new pop-up window eligibility message taking the place of a hard and fast rule of 48 months. However, if you're ineligible for the welcome offer and also ineligible to get the card itself, even without an offer, then you should expect to get flat out denied online, which was my case. I went over to Chase's site, clicked on the Sapphire Reserve, brought up the application, filled out all the fields, and submitted it, only to receive a denial with that 7 to 10 day language letting me know that they'll send me the reasons why later. Well, that was disappointing. And what about the one Sapphire rule? Well, fortunately, that was also covered here in the FAQs. Can you hold both a Sapphire Preferred and a Sapphire Reserve? Does having Sapphire Preferred preclude applying for the new Reserve card? The reason why this question was asked was because previously you could not get approved for a Sapphire Reserve if you already had an open Sapphire Preferred card. In other words, one Sapphire card could be opened at a time, not both. Per Chase, beginning on June 23rd, 2025, you will be able to have both the Sapphire Reserve and Sapphire Preferred cards. New account bonus offer eligibility for either card will be based on factors including previously earned bonus offers and the number of cards open and closed, among others. Translating that, you can now have both Preferred and Reserve open, but you probably won't get the bonuses on both cards. I won't say that's impossible, but I highly doubt we'll see Chase giving bonuses on both cards to the same person with any sort of regularity. If you happen to be one of those lucky people though, do drop a comment down below so that way you can give us all some hope. With all this new crazy knowledge here, what are the possible outcomes for an application going forward? Well, it seems like you can either get an automatic approval or an automatic denial, or now a pop-up window before the credit check has been performed. This could mean a possible approval without the welcome offer, or even a possible denial. Because if you do decide to proceed without the welcome offer, Chase will then pull your credit report, and if they see something that kind of raises a red flag to them, then I guess they could still deny you. That is some speculation on my part, but we currently have no details to say that if you proceed without a bonus from your pop-up, that you will for sure get approved. We'll need a lot more data points over the coming months to confirm some of these things further. Finally, can you upgrade? Per the example here on the side of the screen, let's say you have the Freedom Unlimited and you want to go up to the Sapphire Reserve. Well, given that I am incredibly ineligible for the new Sapphire Reserve offer and I do have the Freedom Unlimited, I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot.
This call will be monitored and recorded.
Hi, this is Gwen with Chase. May I please have your full name?
Hi, this is Jeffrey Reese.
And how can I make your day even better?
I'm wondering if it's possible to do a product change from my Freedom Unlimited to the new version of the Sapphire Reserve.
I can sense how important it is to you to get a product change. Since you got me on the line, let me go ahead and process it for you. But first, can you help me with your account number? Give me a minute while I pull up your account, okay?
Sure.
So I will be reading some disclosures, Mr. Reese. So I have successfully changed your product into Sapphire Reserve, and please be advised that you will receive your new cards within 5 to 7 business days at address on file. Would that be okay?
Is it possible to expedite the card delivery?
Just give me a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be expediting the card for you. It will be taking 1 to 2 business days.
Fortunately, we have a very definitive answer on this. It is yes. Here's some things to be aware though. You will not get a welcome offer, but you also won't have a spend requirement to meet. There will also be no effect on your credit score. Why is that? Well, because there's no hard inquiry to do an upgrade. Also, no new account is being opened. And you'll also maintain your prior payment history and your prior credit limit. You may also maintain your prior credit card number if you're doing a switch on the same network. In this case, a Visa to a Visa would work. And the last question I'm sure you all are asking right now is, what about the 524 rule? Unfortunately, we have no new info on that from Chase or any other sources yet, but I would just take the approach that it is still in effect, which would naturally make it a part of the piece of the overall new internal algorithm as part of Chase's pop-up window. The 524 rule never applied only to Sapphire cards in the past. It was a blanketed rule across all cards that was enforced most of the time. It was also never a rule that appeared in the offer terms like we saw with the 48-month rule or other things like that. Until we receive a large influx of data points of people applying for this card, I think our new guiding principles for the moment are the 524 rule, the offer terms specifically on the application, which I showed you in the earlier parts of this video, and of course the new Chase pop-up window. All that said, that's a wrap for today's video of the new Sapphire card rules. Do let me know down below in those comments though if you think Chase will expand these rules to other cards that they issue in the future, because right now it only affects the Sapphire cards on the personal side. And before you go, remember to check the links down below in the description area for some great resources, including to get your 2-week free trial with Aura and protect yourself while online. I'll see you all in the next video, and until then, welcome to a whole new world.